welcome to Microsoft Viva Days 2023. Uh, First of all, this is basically a virtual event for full one day, and there are some exciting prizes to be won. So pay attention to the sessions which are there because the questions or the quiz has been curated using these sessions, and the questions would be around the sessions which are delivered throughout the day, and there are so many exciting prizes to be won. So a little bit about myself. I am Siddharth Vakasia. I'm Microsoft MVP in the Microsoft 365 development and business app category. I am a technical consultant and founder of a company called Binary Roots, where we provide services around Microsoft 365. I'm programmer by heart, and these are some of the social handles through which you would be able to connect with me. Today, I'm going to talk about an use case driven session. So this session would be an use case driven where we would be seeing, how in a way we can design a solution to create dynamic announcement using adaptive card extensions. Okay. So before we jump into the session, okay, to set up the context around, the terminologies or the concepts which we are going to explore or refer in this session, I would like to basically take an overview of, what is Viva connection and things like that. Though Nandip Smita and in the previous session we have got a brief overview of what is Viva connection, what it can do, etc. Just to set the context, I'll just quickly recap that. So if you already have understood that Viva connection is basically part of an Viva Microsoft product suite, right? And it's in a way you can call it as an intranet, which is surfaced within Microsoft Teams. So if you consider Teams, Viva connection in Teams is basically a Teams application itself. Okay, behind the scenes, SharePoint is being used. You would have a SharePoint page which is been configured to display the components within the Viva connections, and the data also which we are getting would be curated for the users, but at the end it is a SharePoint page which is been displayed in the Viva connection as a Teams app. Viva connection is kind of targeted because of the hybrid, nature of the working culture which we have right now, wherein user might be in office or employee might be in office or they might be on the field or they might be working from home. It becomes very important to have an targeted, content, something which would adhere to every kind of users or every kind of employees which we have, be it a field worker, be it a frontline worker or an information worker. So that is where Viva connection basically kind of comes into picture to elevate that. And as we know, it is built on top of SharePoint Teams Viva Engage, which is Yammer and Stream. So what does Viva connection display? Okay, so it displays, if you see on the right hand side, this is basically an immersive desktop experience of a Viva connection where you have dashboard, you have feed, then you have resource, and there you have some frequent sites and followed sites kind of thing. And on the top you would see some links to the other Viva products which are available. Now as we see in the feed, what it will give you the SharePoint news. It will probably give you the Yammer feed of a particular or Viva Engage feed of the organization, and then the resources would give you the popular destination link which you would configure, which you want your user to quickly go to a particular thing. So it's more or less kind of a quick link kind of functionality for the user. And then there are personalized content which is like frequent user and followed site, etc. Right? And then this is the dashboard. So I took dashboard last because this is where we are going to use adaptive card extension. In the last session we have seen how you can use dashboard or how cards would be added and how cards can be made configurable, which would be kind of used. So in this one we will see how we can create a custom card to have our own custom features or customization available in the Viva connection dashboard. So this is desktop experience. For the mobile experience, I'll go to next slide where we will see. So when you see a Viva connection in the mobile app, basically you won't see the whole page or whole experience. Okay, what it will do is it will automatically separate the dashboard feed and resources into different tabs, and same cards would be displayed which we are seeing in the desktop app. In the feed you will see similar kind of news or Yammer feed or Viva Engage feed, and in the resources you will see the quick links, but you won't see anything else which is available as a part of SharePoint page. So this is important to understand that mobile experience might be a little bit different. Now, as we are talking about a solution built using adaptive card extension, it's natural to understand what is adaptive card extension, which we have briefly seen again in the previous session from Nandip and Smita. That it is a new type of component available in SharePoint framework through which we would be able to create adaptive card extension, which is based on adaptive card. Now, adaptive card is not new, or I mean, it has been used in certain other places within Microsoft 365. Plus, it also been used in other technology stack. It's a declarative JSON schema for us to create the generative UI. It means that we have to create a JSON schema on how our user interface we wanted to make it, and then we would put a dynamic JSON payload data to that schema to make the content dynamic, right? It gives us a way for us to bring data and provide way data push back to the external system. It means that with using creating adaptive card extension, we would be able to integrate using graph to get data from the graph, which would be from Microsoft 365. You would be able to get data from the SharePoint using SharePoint REST API. You would be able to get data from the external system also. It means if you have your external APIs, you would be able to call external APIs, build an adaptive card extension to provide an user basically a tool within your dashboard to interact with the external system, right? And good thing about adaptive card extension that you don't have to focus on the UI or how to make it beautiful, etc. Okay, because it has very a confined way of how the UI would look like by using the JSON schema, and there are two views which we will see. But you have to just focus on the business logic part of it rather than using the UI part of it, and it provides the custom experience. Now let's understand the adaptive card UI. Why it is important? So because the solution which I'm going to present, it is important that how we are understanding what kind of view is available and which elements represent where in an adaptive card extension. Now consider this is an adaptive card, which is a single card. Okay, the first surface which we are seeing is the card view. Okay, it is a simple view, single view, wherein you can only show limited information. It means you can only show title, description. There is one more type of card view which is available where you can also add image. Okay, so only three things: you can add image, you can add card title, and you can add description. Then you can have one or maximum up to two actionable buttons. It means you cannot have more than two buttons also. So we have to smartly design our card view so that it is like bringing a summary to the user, but the actual data which you wanted to display would be displayed using quick view. So once you can choose on the actionable buttons what you want to do, if you on click of a button, if you wanted to start showing the quick view, and which is where you would get all kind of customization which is possible using adaptive cards. So here if you see, this is the quick view, and it would, in this particular case, it would surface when you click on a particular card or when you would click on either of the buttons, right? So just to understand, like what is card title, what is card description, what are actionable buttons, and within quick view you can do anything which we can do now for an adaptive card. Again, same, I already talked about it, but important thing to know is that we have to design the adaptive card using adaptivecard.io. There is a designer which is available, which we will see in the demo part. But using that, you can create your adaptive card design or the JSON file, and you will be able to use that JSON schema in your adaptive card extension to build the quick view. Now, let's understand why every organization or any organization would need announcement, right? Like, if you think about announcement, it is basically kind of a push information which you wanted to give to your employees or to your information workers or to your frontline workers to keep them engaged, to keep them to get the inclusiveness wherein giving them information about the organization would help them that okay, no matter where they are working from, they would be able to get what is latest going on in the organization, right? That can be done using news. Okay, but if you need a something very simple or short thing, most of the organization I have seen do have an announcement solution which they use, wherein the announcement would be surfaced as a part of on the top on the SharePoint site, or as a part of intranet, as in warning, or as in success, or a good scenario also they would do to use that, right? So you need a centralized communication. It means you need a solution wherein the communication is centralized. It means there would be some contents or an admin owners who would basically go and start putting this content so that the announcement are being given to the users. And same way, you can also use it for recognition and appreciation. It means you can have, announcement wherein you wanted to recognize somebody or appreciate somebody by giving some the sport awards or something, or any kind of recognition which would be possible. And of course, you can also use it for emergency alerts, to put some emergency alerts on the site. So that is where I see an importance of having an announcement based solution. And the purpose of today's session, or this solution which is being built, is to use adaptive card extension to create similar kind of announcements so that can be used in the Viva connection. Now, just to summarize the solution as such, as I said, it's built on SharePoint Framework. Okay, it's using the component type called adaptive card extension. Data is being read from the SharePoint list. So we are using SharePoint list to store the data. It would be added to Viva Connection dashboard. And then we are using adaptive card for the visual representation of the announcement. And there are ways to map the column, SharePoint list column, to adaptive card elements, which we have seen in the previous site, like from where the card title to get, from where the card description to get, etc. Okay. Plus, it allows the card content to be customized using the SharePoint column for the quick view also. We will see that shortly in the demo part. Now, uh, what are the features? There are some features which I would like to highlight, which is available as a part of solution, that you get an option to create list from the configuration panel. So you don't have to manually create the list. There is an option in the configuration panel of the adaptive card itself to create the list, and it will automatically create that list schema for you. Because this is an reusable adaptive card, it means the same card can be used for multiple type of quick views to be displayed. It has a feature for wherein the cards would auto rotate and get a new item every 4 seconds. You can also manually navigate between different cards, and same card can also be used on the dashboard multiple times and pointing to a different list. It means because the list is configurable from where to read that data, you can use same card multiple times on the same dashboard but pointing to different lists. So, and the way we have seen in the previous session, you can use target audiencing to target a particular card to a particular group of user. It means if the user is not part of that group or that business unit, the card itself won't be displayed. So you can have multiple cards added for a particular business unit for their personalized business unit announcement also. And of course, because it is an announcement, it has an capability to show and hide item based on a particular date range. Okay, so this is the list schema. We will see the list schema. I'll skip it here. We'll directly see it on the SharePoint site. And let's quickly jump into demo and code walkthrough. So what I will do is I will first show you how the card looks like. So this is my dashboard page. Okay. Now the dashboard page is more or less nothing but a dashboard which is available on a either a Viva connection site, right? So you see that if you would see a Viva connection, this is my home site, but now we have seen that we definitely don't need an home site setup to have a Viva connection experience, but still it needs SharePoint, right? So this is where the home page or the landing page is, and this is where the dashboard looks like. We as a developer or who are configuring the home page or the landing page or the Viva connection page or the dashboard page would have to use an page which is dashboard page to basically add or remove card or do any kind of configuration to be done, right? And you would see that there are so many cards which are added. We are talking about this dynamic adaptive card extension. As I was saying, like different cards needs to have different kind of quick view, right? It means that if you have a card which is like a daily insight cards, then the quick view would be different. Then you might need a separate card for a separate kind of view. Now, using this solution, what you will get is you can use this single uh, solution or a single card to be deployed onto your tenant or onto your SharePoint site, and then use the setup to have multiple different kinds of quick views to be available, right? So let's see. Once you see here, this is the card view, this is the landing page, and this one. On click of this is the kind of a card view which actually opens an external link. Okay, so it is not opening any quick view. So this is one kind of card view which you can display. Then once you click on next, it is getting a separate item, so another item which is basically an activity update type of view. And once click of this view, you would see that this view is having a different one wherein you are displaying some title, description, some items, and also the user's pictures, etc. Right? Then next, you are seeing a restaurant sample. It means it is a card view which is available to display some kind of, food photos and food description or review about a particular restaurant to be displayed. Now, then there is a weather compact sample, which is basically displaying the weather. Then this is a product video sample. So I'm showing you the capability of what all things are possible in the quick views, okay, on what different kinds of views you can create to make more, user centric or a good user interface for the user to do it. And it can play video also, right? Then this to display image gallery sample. Then you can also build FAQ, okay, like wherein it can expand and collapse, simple kind of questions in the quick view. This is just an sample to display different kinds of event. Within that, you can have tabs also. You right? So you see that every announcement which you would make might have need a different kind of format to be displayed. Some might be very simple, just a title and some description to be displayed. Some might need image. Somewhere you might need to add videos or some images also to be added, and that is where this solution would be able to use, wherein you can have a same card with a different kind of announcement having different kind of user interface, right? So the samples which we are seeing is to show you that okay, these are the possibilities, okay. And then this is the one which we will see, which is kind of upcoming holidays we wanted to display, right? Now let's see how this data is coming, right? So whatever data we were seeing, which was first item was like PnP landing page and SharePoint URL to find them all. First, let's see the configuration option. So if you edit that particular card, you will see what kind of card title you wanted to display. On the top, what you wanted to show. So if you wanted to tell here, like announcement, then you can tell that, right? And then icon you can configure. You can mention the SharePoint list which you wanted to use as a part of your to get the data from. This is the button I was talking about. If you give any new name and if you click on create list, it will automatically create the schema for you, and then you can use that list and add your data to get the render the card itself. And this is auto rotate, which I was saying that which will auto rotate the card every 4 seconds. Okay, so these are the configurable options. Card title goes here, card icon goes here, this title, description, and what all these things is coming from our SharePoint list, which we are going to see, right? Now, so these are the configurable options, right? So now let's see how this data is coming from. So so this is the list which was ACE card data list which we are seeing, right? And within this list, what we have is we have different columns which are making this card dynamic, or different logic which is making this card dynamic, right? Forget about the title. This is just a mandatory title to be added, but I have not removed it. But in a way, the other columns which we are seeing would be pointing to a particular thing. So when you see card title, what you are seeing is which is getting here. So this is the card title being displayed, right? Then when you talk about description, this is the description which is being shown here, okay? And on this item, as I was saying, that we need two, three capabilities. One card where you don't want to have a quick view. You just wanted to show something as an announcement, and on click of that announcement, you want user to redirect it to actual news page or detail page, right? So for that, what you will do is for that, you will basically say that, okay, external link, right? Your on card selection, you wanted to open an external link, and this is the external link which you want to open. And that is how once I was clicking on it, it was opening that pinhub.github.io page. And then there is a quick queue adaptive JSON and quick queue adaptive card data. This we will talk a little bit in the next item demo. Then you have start date and end date. So this is where it would filter the announcement based on the date. So if it is, if today's date is falling in between start date and end date, then only it will show. Otherwise, it won't show on the card itself. Okay. So this is the schema. Okay. We didn't talk about this too, which I will talk in the in the next few seconds. But this is overall how it would be. The card selection type would be quick view if we wanted to use quick view, right? So now let's see the second item which was getting displayed, right? Which is like add activity update quick view, and then this was the title. So if you see the second item which is here, same thing, card title, description, which is being displayed on the card view. And here the difference is that on card selection, I'm saying open quick view, right? And on quick view, I need to make sure that I'm putting this adaptive card JSON and the adaptive card data, which is actually surfacing what we are seeing here on top of it. right? Now, how did I come up with, adaptive card JSON and schema, right? So for that, what I was saying is, what we have is, we have this adaptivecard.io website, right? And using this website, what we do is, we can design our adaptive cards, okay? And there are some samples which are available to which you can get started from, and then you can customize based on what you need to display it. Now, the one which we were seeing, which is activity update, is the first sample in the adaptivecard.io JSON. And this is the JSON data, and this is the JSON schema, right? It means, using this template JSON, we are saying, how the card should be displayed, how the quick view should be displayed. And then to make it dynamic, there are some placeholders which are kept in the body, so that whenever the data payload is being given to that particular template, it will make it dynamic, right? So it's more or less the way we create a model or something in, any programming language, that you define a template, and then onto the template you pass on some data, and when you pass that data, it makes the template dynamic in nature, right? So here, if you see, there is a title, right? Now, title is what you are seeing on the top here, correct? And if you see that the data which we are passing is published adaptive card schema, right? Then what you have is, sorry, then what you have is, then you have a column set wherein you have multiple columns. In the first column, you want the creator's profile picture. So there is an creator object within which you have a profile image picture. So that is where this image comes from. Then you have the name, creator name. This is where the name comes from. And then you have a created date. Now, created date is displayed below this. So it is coming from this particular object, which is created UTC, right? Coming down, you have this long description which is being displayed. So this is getting displayed from here, and it is getting dynamic by using the description property which is there, right? And then there is an key value pair of reiteration of the four properties being displayed, like board, list, assigned to. So it just has an way for you to pass the data as in property object, which is array. And then you are saying the title and value should be based on key and value. And that is where the properties window would come into picture. Okay. So for my sample, and to show the simplicity of it, what we have is, in our data is nothing but the adaptive card JSON is being displayed here. So this is exactly the same JSON object which we have seen from the sample template, and then exactly the same data which is there from the sample template, right? And that is how it is been, dynamically able to build this, correct? Now, uh, just to again go into little bit detail, you can start when you create an adaptive card extension or adaptive card schema. There are so many samples which are available from the Microsoft website which you can use to build it, okay? And most of the samples which you have seen are directly been copied from the sample itself. So the restaurant sample which you are seeing here, if you go and if you see, this is restaurant sample, this is what we are seeing right now. So I just use this and I just copied and put it here. Okay. Now, same way, just let's take weather compact sample. So if you would see here, there is a weather compact sample, same thing, passing dynamic data and the schema to build this. Okay. So start with something which is available, and then what you should do is, then you should go from there to build your own extension you wanted to build, right? Now the question is, or there would be, questions or thoughts in mind that uh, why do we want to just copy the data and from a sample, and how to make it dynamic, right? Now that is where you have to add an additional logic, wherein, consider that you wanted to build a particular card for a particular integration where you wanted to display something. Then what you will do is, you will design that card. You know that, okay, this need this kind of payload data to be added as a part of your card designing, but you need to have a backend logic somewhere, okay? Be it in a cron job, be it an Power Automate, be it an Azure Runbook or PowerShell or something which is getting data from somewhere, and just updating this particular item by passing the data. And once the data is been passed, that is where, it would be able to make use of that schema and the data to update it. So you have to we have to make sure that, that kind of automation is built, because as I said, this is a reusable solution. It provides you a framework to have your dynamic announcement, but the actual logic to make it dynamic has to be done somewhere, right? So now, to understand and this particular scenario, what I wanted to demo here is what I did is there is one upcoming holidays which we were seeing here, right? Which is basically displaying all the Indian holidays which are upcoming in this current 2023 year, right? So for that same thing I did, what I did is actually I used one of the Nandip sample to come up with the adaptive card schema. So here, if you see this particular upcoming holidays item, the schema which we are seeing, if I go to the designer, okay, and this is the designer. Sorry, I didn't talk about this designer, but this is the designer which you would help you to preview before actually writing your code to create what kind of sample you want. And the samples which we were seeing, okay, can be used. It means you can start with any samples and you can go to designer, and this is where you would be able to configure it. Okay, so what I'm going to do is on the left side you are seeing that card payload editor, and right hand side you are seeing that sample data editor which you have to pass to make it dynamic, and then you will know that how the card is going to look like, right? One thing is the sometimes the designer doesn't iterate through the properties or the items array to display it, but based on your logic you know that okay, if that is going there it is going to display it. Okay, so if you see here it is not able to render or preview the property, the board adaptive card list backlog here, because this is just a designer, this is not the actual solution being built, right? So let's, what I will do is I'll go here, and what I did is I started with one of the sample, and then I built and adaptive card where what I wanted to do is on the top I wanted to display just a title, okay, which we were seeing it as in Indian holidays. And then what I needed is I need the holiday name and the date of the holiday, right? So for that, if you see here on the top we have title. Okay, sorry, don't consider this as a current location. I meant to put it as a location so that if it is a different country, you can just put it here saying that okay, like Canada holidays or USA holidays, things like that. So that's why the property name is current location. Then within the data you are saying that okay, I'll give you an array of upcoming holidays object, right? And based on that object I will give you name and date, and then you have to just iterate through and display an array of items for the name of the holiday and dates, right? Now from where I do get this public holiday data? So for that, what I did is I don't know if people are sure, aware about this, but there is an API platform called RapidAPI. You can create a free account, and wherein you would be able to find so many free APIs which are available. So it's basically an API hosted platform, and it also has some APIs which are paid also. And using this, you can basically subscribe to a particular API. You will get the key, no matter if it is free or paid, and then you can use it in your integration point. So I found one API from one of the developer called Ninjas, wherein they have this endpoint which is giving you list of all the holidays based on certain parameters. Okay, so I subscribed it. It's a free one. It has API holidays data available for over 200 countries. uh, what you need to pass the either ISO country code or full the country name, and you have to pass the year. Okay, and once you will test this endpoint, what it is giving you, it will give you the response. Okay, and in response what you have is you have around 65 items. So there are 65 holidays probably which is there in year 2023 for India. You can also filter some of them, okay, but we are not filtering anything, we are getting all the holidays which we want. Now, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this API to make my public holidays card, what do you say, dynamic, right? It means what I need to do is I need to find a way to feed in this JSON object, okay, feed in this JSON object with a dynamic data so that the holidays kind of become dynamic. So let me just show you the current data which I had. So if you see, this has Indian holidays as the current location title, and then upcoming holidays is an array of the item. And whatever you see after upcoming holidays is the same JSON format which you are getting it here. It means it is very much same to what we are getting from the API which we are going to use. It has country, ISO, year, date, day, name, and type. I'm going to only use name and date. I don't want anything else to be displayed. Okay. So that's why when we are saying that okay, iterate through all the items, we are saying iterate through public holidays, and then start building two columns, the first column being the name. In the name, use the name property, which is the name of the holiday. In the date, use the date property, which is basically to display the date. Okay. Now, so this is how the card is designed. This is how I know that, okay, by using this logic, I would be able to use that, right? So second thing is for me, in this case is I wrote a power automate, okay, which is basically a scheduled power automate. And using this scheduled power automate, I'm going to call that API, and then I'm going to dynamically make this JSON object, okay, which would be used to feed in the JSON thing, right? So reoccurrence, I'm running it every day, and then making the HTTP call. I'm passing the API key. Okay, so this is the key which I would get it from the RapidAPI platform. Then I'm just passing the JSON because I wanted to refer the date and field in my this thing. Next thing I'm doing is I'm filtering the array. So, okay, if you would have noticed, this has given me all the past holidays also, right? It has also given me all the past holidays. So what I want to do is I wanted to just show all the holidays which are upcoming. I'm not interested in the past holidays. So to exclude that, I'm saying within the area which I got, I need only dates which are greater than UTC.now. It means any future dates which is available. Then I'm just sorting it. If you would have noticed, it is giving me unsorted data. It's giving me July and then April and then December and things like that. But I wanted to sort it. So what I'm doing is I'm just sorting it based on the date so that the latest upcoming would be displayed or added on the top, and then the future ones. Okay, and then I'm initializing the variable JSON string, and this is where I'm building the dynamic data which we are saying, right? So I'm saying that, okay, current location is Indian holidays. We can make this also dynamic. And then in upcoming holidays, I'm just giving the array of the object which I want. Okay. And then I'm updating the SharePoint item. Now, updating the SharePoint item, as I was saying, every individual item, because it is a reusable solution, uh, would have a specific use case, right? So you would know that, okay, every time I wanted to update an upcoming holidays item, the item ID is 17. You can use, I mean, to keep it simple, I directly putting the hard-coded ID. Otherwise, you can also filter and say get items and get by title, which is upcoming holidays, and then use to update it. But for the simpler calculation, I'm just directly getting it based on ID. Then you are updating the titles and descriptions and things like that. You are saying that on quick card view selection, I need quick view. You are passing the JSON schema adaptive object, and then in the data, you are passing the JSON string, which we had built here as a part of this. Okay. And once every time it would run, what it will do is every time it will make query, it will get the upcoming holidays, filter only the ones which are in future, and it will go and update the data in the SharePoint entry, right? So this is how you also, or we as in solution, when we have to provide, we would be able to use that to basically go and create dynamic data. Now consider if this would not have been an upcoming holidays, if you might want to do it something very similar to connect it to an external system where you wanted to show some RSS feed data from your WordPress blog or anything anywhere, that can be done. You can also use this to display quote of the day or tip of the day, things like that, right? To make it dynamic. Plus you can also have very simple way, if you don't want to make it dynamic, but you want to have an announcement which is very much specific, which you want to do it for next 5 days. For example, there is a fire drill which might be announced, or there might be something which might be happening in the office, right? Then an event might be happening in the office. Then don't make it dynamic. Do what you do is you go here, create new entry. First of all, design your card, okay, the way you want to design it. If there is a dynamic data associated with, you can do it the way we were seeing, right? Like for example, the MS Ignite example we have seen. So this is like an event which was might be an event which is happening in the future, and you have a schedule associated with it, right? So you designed your card, you designed your data along with it, and you added that entry as in one-time entry for that event. You put at start date and end date, and that can be done. But if you need more dynamic or regularly the content or announcement to be updated, then you can always use the integration point which I have said, right? So this is how overall, you can use this solution to make the card, dynamic. Plus you would be able to make it configurable on what you wanted to do. Okay. So the base objective is that for similar kind of announcement or things, you don't need separate cards. You can have one solution which can be used
Siddharth,
and
we
which.
have 10 more minutes. Just a reminder.
Yep, yes, I'm good.
Okay.
So that's using that you can make dynamic single card can be used to make dynamic announcement by using different UI to be displayed depending on the announcement type which is being done. Okay. So yeah, this is about having demo. As this session is a bit technical and everything, I also wanted to quickly walk through the code, so that to understand how to make the this how the solution is built. And another thing is, this solution is actually available on this particular adaptive card extension repo, through which you would be able to download and customize it if you want to customize it, or if you want to directly use it, you can just build and directly use it also. So this is the repo. I will put it in the chat window also later, through which you would be able to use that for your organization. Okay, now coming to the code walkthrough. So the way I mean, we have seen in the first session from the Smita and Nandip that the main important part for any quick view is the template.json file, right? That is what this solution does. Rather than using a template.json file, which is there in the code itself, okay, we are actually reading it from the SharePoint list and giving it to the adaptive card extension framework, so that it would be able to dynamically use that JSON schema to create different kinds of view. Okay, so okay, let's do a quick walkthrough. First thing is, in the main extension file, you need some properties. Okay, so these properties would hold the configurable properties which I have shown you, like the title, the list name from where we have to read data, the icon property, and the auto rotate property, whether it is true or false. Okay, then what you need is you need state, right? State is the items which we would read from the SharePoint list and hold it as an array. You also need current index to hold, when the user is clicking on previous or next, or when the auto rotate works. Then you need the current item in a simple object, so to hold the current item which is being displayed. And then there is a logic to say that what view has been clicked. Okay. Now, next, on init method, what we are doing is we are using PnP to get the data from the SharePoint list. So we have an service method which we will see shortly, but this is just basically getting the data from the SharePoint list based on the list properties which is configured, right? Then initializing the state object. On the This is the fixture part, which is basically the auto rotate functionality. I got this code reference from one of the demo from the in one of the other community demo, wherein it says how to auto rotate. The same logic is being used. Basically, it is every 4 seconds what it is doing, it is calling the same method again, and then it is incrementing the current index so that the next item would be displayed in the UI. Okay. Then this is to register the card and the quick view, correct? And next thing is the SP provider class, which is actually getting data from the SharePoint list. So as I was saying, we are using PnP to get the data, and we are doing it based on the start time and end time, and ordering by created date. Okay. Second thing is the property pane configuration. So this is where the property pane configuration is, like title, which is a label. Then property also is, sorry, it's a text field. Property is also text field. List name is also text field. And this is where the button is there, which is basically creating the SharePoint list, the schema which we wanted to do, right? And this is the method which is actually creating the SharePoint list. So these are the schema or the columns which we wanted, okay, as a part of our solution. And then we are just calling an service method, which is, create list with columns. And in here we have, the fields which we are creating, or the columns or the list which we are creating. Then going to the card view, simple in the card data method, what you have is you have primary text and description, which is what making your card title and description displayed from the SharePoint list. So if you see in the state of items, we are saying that whichever is the current index item, whether it is 0th index, first or third, we are using title and we are using description to display the card title and everything. If there are no cards, we are just displaying, a simple hard-coded message that there is no card for today. If there is no data written, just displaying some static message. Then on card selection, this is where it makes a dynamic that if the current item is there and on the card selection, if it is quick view, then we have to return the quick view register. Okay. If it is not quick view, then you just have to open the external link. So it means you are passing and saying that, okay, open the external link. But again, the link is dynamic, which is getting from the state of the current object, which is external link. Then in the card view, the buttons which we were seeing, basically the previous next buttons. So as I was saying, maximum you can have either one or maximum two cards. So depending on which is the last index of the item, we are showing and hiding previous and next button. Okay. So based on that, this has been done. Now on the quick view data part, very simple. Uh, First thing is in the data method, you have to read and pass the JSON object which is there in the SharePoint list item, again based on the current item, right? And on the template part, that is where rather than reading and template JSON file, what we are doing is we are doing a JSON parse and we are reading it from the SharePoint list item which we wanted to read it from. And yeah, that's it. This is the quick, code walkthrough of how the solution is built. It was a simple idea which can be, which has been used and extended to make the dynamics announcement solution to be done. Uh, Thank you all the organizers and sponsors without which this event would not have been possible. And